Hello, my name is Demo, and welcome to Sleepwalking. So this is a WAD that I found, and honestly I really wanted to try it out, like in terms of demos, because I played through this casually and it was actually really fun. So props to whoever made this. I think it was Raven Desk. This was a really good WAD. Anyway, so I come out of that starting room, it's pretty easy, and then what I tend to do is sort of initiate all the fights. So as you can see here, I get the Berserk, I then punch out this Archvile, which I got pretty unlucky with. And then what I do after that is go, I believe, to the Super Shotgun fight. I'm sorry if this commentary is really bad, it's been a couple of days since I've actually played this map. And now I'm just sort of commentating over it as a way to then upload it to YouTube, you know. Quirky stuff. Anyway, get the chain gun. Kill the chain gunners because I find they can be pretty sort of obnoxious if they're left alive. They'll snipe you from across the map and that's your run, just completely gone. So I leave those enemies alive just to infight a bit or whatever. And then what I do from here is I'm pretty sure I just clean up all the enemies. Now, not really much happens in this part, so what I'm gonna do is just talk about certain things. Like, personally, I really like what has been done with the weapons, specifically the Super Shotgun. I assume it was ripped from Junk Food 3 or something, or maybe, I don't know. I quite like, it's the same mechanic pretty much, just 2 shots instead of 1, and I really like that. In fact, your chain gun, your pistol, they're all buffed as well. Your rocket launcher as well fires quicker. You just get more ammo for it in general. I just really like the arsenal in this sort of map set because it makes it more beefier, so I guess that means more volume of sort of monsters in a smaller area because you'll have the weapons to deal with it. Like, you'll be able to sort of do that sort of stuff. You'll be able to go sort of full throttle with just clustered fucks of enemies. And you know what, I'm happy for that, because if you don't know me, I'm a big fan of sort of slaughterish stuff, and with this sort of arsenal, you can be very experimental with it, and slaughter is obviously a very experimental genre, so why not incorporate that? I'm pretty sure some fights in this are very slaughtery. I think you'll see it like towards the end, the final fight, I consider it to be kind of slaughtery. It's hordes and hordes of enemies. It's not brainless, but it's kind of just like, I don't know, that's what I consider slaughter, but everyone has their own definition to it. So there we go, I've cleaned up here, and now we go on to the next fight. So this fight, what I'm pretty sure I do is I wake up everything, I try and shoot a bunch of barrels, and I hide behind this pillar so the Archvile doesn't zap me. But the reason why I shoot the barrels is because the imps take a lot of space. You don't really want that when trying to run around the place and not take as much damage as you can. Then I sort of focus on the Hell Knights and the Cacos because, I don't know, they have less health. The Mancubi are sniping, but they can't really reach you from the other side, so they're not really a big priority. And then lastly, you can just tackle the Vile with Berserk if you're able to jump across. Now, this next fight, I actually cheese. And how the cheese works, you'll see in a minute, is what you do is there's a very small gap where the monsters don't spawn. If you SR50 that, you'll have just enough time to get out of there. Here I almost got stuck, but luckily that didn't happen, so I'm all good. But what you can do is you can then sort of go to the other side, have more room to maneuver whilst you just blast the enemies down pretty much. And not only that, but when Cacos and Pain Elemental spawn in, it just becomes really hard to sort of deal with everything. It gets really cramped, you're more likely to take damage from your rockets. It's just sort of, it's more tedious, but honestly the fight is as good as it is, even when you're not cheesing it. So yeah, I've cleaned that up, then I go to this bit, face rocket here. Good job, Domo. So yeah, that's that. Then there's this fight. This fight is actually pretty tricky. And it's mostly because, you'll see in a bit, there's 2 Archviles that can be very tricky. They're sort of amidst the crowd. So whilst you're focusing on that, then the Archviles come in. Now, this fight kind of goes poorly because I focus more on getting the secret and trying to find some space to hide, whereas I should have just probably charged straight for the vials. But you know what, looking at this again, it actually didn't go that badly, so fair enough. If I kill the Archvile, I assume, then just kill the remaining enemies. And that secret over there gives you a plasma. Again, you'll see pretty soon, once I kill these enemies. I feel kind of bad, because like, I'm meant to be commentating, but it's hard to commentate over cleanup, pretty much. Anyway, so that's done. I get the secret, 3 Revenants spawn in, just take them down with a plasma, because honestly it's not really going to be much use in the map. Because, you know, your rocket launcher, your chain gun, your super shotgun, they're all really beefy already. That would have been a bit annoying if I missed those, because I would have lost quite a bit of time there. I did try and beat this as quick as I could, but not like world record pace, because I was just like, I can't be bothered to do that. Anyway, this fight, just skip the first phase, go straight to the second one. This spawns in a ton of Archviles, and the trick is just to sort of rocket them down as you can. This was a Pain Elementals in there, so try and sort of rocket those down if you can. But if you'd have run out of rockets, just plasma everything like I do. The Cacodemons behind you, they won't really do much damage, so don't stress about them. Sort of worry about them after. What I like to do is use the chain gun here, because it's just sort of good for taking care of things now. Like, it used to be really long and tedious to use it, but now, because the damage has been buffed, it's super nice to have. Anyway, now we go on to the final fight. Just kill the Mancubi, and then drop down here. This fight can go wrong, and it's actually a little bit scary. So here, kill the Archviles as quickly as you can. I get blasted here, which is a little bit annoying, but it's nothing too bad, because I don't actually take that much damage. Now another group of Archvile triplets spawn in. As you can see, I sort of pre-fire there just to make sure, but it's a bit easier because you've got a corner to dodge with. So then what I do here is I take care of all the sort of pinkies, and then the Revenants come in. Now when the Revenants come in, try and stick to this corner if you can. If you move a bit far away from it, then you're going to have to deal with dodging a bunch of Rev Rockets, and that gets pretty tedious, especially when they sort of home in on you, and obviously you'll take high damage with them because, you know, RNG, and also the fact that they can do fucking 80 damage. That's ridiculous, by the way. But here, I seem to get on with it pretty well. I mean, I got some pretty decent rolls, I guess, and I did stay in that corner pretty much for most of it. There was one demo that I sent previously, it was slower, but I felt like I had somehow cheesed that fight, because I just stayed in the corner. The Revenants kept coming in, but they weren't doing anything. Anyway, I'm rambling on. That's the map. It was actually really fun, and I'm really looking forward to sort of seeing what the next maps are going to be like on replay. Anyway, that's all I have today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.